Hey guys, Grevlin here. So I wanted to show you guys this video. Something I kind of found out here recently. It was a pretty big deal for me. I got my inspiration from a series that Splitsie does called Survival Impossible, where he basically takes hinges and tubes and goes from base to base using a series of basically stations. So what he's doing is he's taking subgrids and connecting them to stations. And what I'm going to show you today is how to actually turn those, not only do that, but then I'm going to show you how to turn those subgrids into stations as well, which is basically what he's doing, but it's just a way more precise method. So my inspiration turned into this monorail that you can see I've got nice and neat over there. This is all done on creative, by the way. But you're basically, it's way more precise and it's way faster. And this one is great, and it's pretty awesome that Splitsie figured this out, or whoever clued him in on how to do this is pretty awesome. But the way I'll show you, so I'm going to show you his method first. So there's a few things going on. I have a station here, and then here's the start of my subgrid on my hinge. I have a control panel, you'll need that, and the one thing you'll have to do is count all these blocks. So I'm going to count this one, 1, 2, 3. I'm counting that control panel, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to put you'll put a merge block on here. So that's 11. I'm going to call it 12. So here's the important thing is the first thing you do is you line this up as best as possible. So that's pretty close. But this is what you have to do, and I've already positioned this on the hill to where it'll line up. The hinge is going to bend and connect to this. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. And I'll show you guys the reason for counting here in just a second. Let's go this way with it. Alright, that's good there. I'm going to come down here and place another merge block. I like to turn these off when I'm doing turn this one off. You don't need a battery for this method. That's the one good thing. Well, actually, you do to manipulate the hinge over there. So your station has to have a battery. So then you come back over here. There we go. So you guys can see how much or how particular this method is. It's a great method, honestly, for figuring it out was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited when he was able to figure it out. But I have taken it. Alright, so you want that pretty much on 0. I'm going to go a little forward because it looks a little better. Alright, so I said we had 12 blocks, right? So if I was to try to connect this right now, this would explode and go terribly wrong. And you can watch, I think Splitsie actually has like a bloopers video of that. I'm just going to say 15 blocks. I overdo it on purpose every time just in case I can't count because counting is hard. And, oops, did the wrong thing here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to connect this. The reason you count this out, if I didn't say before and I went down a rabbit hole, is because when this tries to connect to this, these two grids are going to join together. And it's going to decide whatever number higher is going to be like the dominant grid, if you will. And it's going to try to bring the other one to it. So when it tries to pull these out of the voxels, it's going to damage itself. And if I didn't explain that right, somebody else will definitely correct me. Alright, so it turned yellow and then green. So now this is connected, and you saw the seam went away right here. So now we can remove these and remove all of this if I wanted to, which I'll do here. Alright, so that's how you do that method. Now I'm going to show you the method that I found out. So I've already placed this stuff down for us. So using this method, you're going to get this perfect every time. Your block placement is going to be perfect from the starting grid that you're on. So you don't even, like I said before, you don't need, I don't even think you need battery. Well, it's always good to have a battery, but it's not needed really if you ever do have to move around. So like before, I can't go straight in the ground. It's a subgrid. It won't connect automatically. I can't place one under here either. You don't even have to place this accurately. The only thing accurate you have to get is you want this a little bit. So the only thing I'm changing here is the height. You do have to get it, the height correct. So I'm going to purposely place this in the wrong spot. So now you guys can see the only thing that's right is the height. And if we come over here, I didn't read this yet, or I don't think I read it to you. So the stipulation for being a station is it says the ship has to be stationary. And that is 100% true, straight how it sounds. And that's how I think they did the math and mechanics for this. So if you can actually lock this, and this is how I figured this out. I accidentally came off and had my subgrid touching the ground. And it was just sitting on the ground, and this convert to station button was like flashing at me, and I spammed my mouse enough for it to actually convert to a station, and I kind of I don't know, I got there using a glitch really, I guess, but all you got to do is place a landing gear. So landing a large grid landing gear, I'm sure you could do this with use the small grid method too if you wanted to, but actually I don't know if you can, because I don't think small grid can go on the ground. But you basically just place this landing gear and it's locked. See, there's a, well, let me get spectator cam. You can see a tiny little gap right there, and it locked automatically. So it's just as easy as coming back up here now and going to info and convert to station. No bangs, no clangs. It's really easy. I can remove it. So technically, now that this is a station, I'll show you it. All these blocks are mobile, and now I can put this in the ground. So one thing I will show you is, it's kind of weird, and this, I've seen this in the game before. So it just gave me an error, convert to ship is not possible, because it's in the ground. And this block is now floating in the air as a station, and I think I should be able to build off of it. Yeah, so this is technically a station, and like, you could really glitch. I don't plan on using this kind of glitch method, but you really could. You could build your whole base out of a floating, like a floating fortress. But I think when you reload the game, I think it's going to reclassify this block right here as being a subgrid, and it will fall to the ground, and your base will crash and burn. So I'm going to show you now a faster method than this. So, like I said before, I had inspiration to make a perfectly placed monorail, and this is in creative, guys, and I copy pasted a lot of this. But you guys can see how smooth this curve is and this hill here. But anyways, I'll come over here and I'll grab a little template. So I have a template I've made to make this method a lot easier and a lot more explainable. And I'm gonna grab this. This is my template piece here. So I have a really long stem on this. There's no reason to have it this long, other than just I was trying to place these. So I will show you how easy this method is. Alright, I'm gonna get my character screen. So what I have here, and this block would be like my track. So I'll just visualize that for you. So this is my monorail, right? And typically if you're placing a rotor down, you'd want it coming off of that axis, so when it spins, your vertical blocks don't twist or get out of alignment so much. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm only going like a degree or less, so it's not that big of a deal for me. Also to note, I'm going to go ahead and twist this 1 degree, roughly. That's way too far. What am I doing right now? Alright, 1 degree. I'm going to lock this. And so one thing to note, if you're using a rotor and then a hinge, even though my hinge is in the horizontal plane, once you start rotating your rotors, they will actually change from horizontal to slightly vertical. But if you don't understand that, hopefully you can play with that and figure that out for yourself. So, since I have turned it to the left, I have these 2 little blocks here spaced out, and I also have 2 little blocks here spaced out. So if I turn this to the right, it's going to make this gap bigger, or if I turn it to the left like I just did, this gap is now bigger. So that allows me to place a landing gear here. If I, actually, I can place one here. I didn't go far enough, but I'm gonna do it over here. So now I'm locked. Now it is stable. So you guys can see how small this is and how quickly I did that. And I come over here to my control panel and I go convert a station. And now this is a station, so I can get rid of that and I can get rid of all this if I wanted to. See, it does that weird thing again. But now technically this is all a station, these blocks here, and I could just have to be careful here. So you can actually delete all of this, and these 3 blocks here would stay immobile as a station. So now this is technically a free floating station. Now in survival or when you reload the game, I highly recommend these being in the ground, because I haven't confirmed this, but I imagine if I left this just like this and I reloaded the game, I imagine this would turn back into a subgrid. I have not tested that, but you could also leave it locked with a landing gear or something too, if you wanted to, and that would do it. But it wouldn't be technically connected by a hinge or a subgrid rotor. I'll show you what I've done with this, and you guys can see how smooth. I actually have a train that I've been testing on this, and it works pretty dang well. And this is my start of my turn here, and it goes down. I actually maxed so I have the vanilla land speed. Yeah, Splitsie, if you saw that note, yeah, I definitely found your base, so I had a weird obsession trying to find where you were parked at one time in my world. So you guys can see that nice curve that I made. One thing I had to do with these stems, I had to, and I'll check these two just in case, to see if these are actually still permanent grids. And they are, because it gives me the connect to ship. So one thing I had to do was cut the stems off of these, because these are actually, you can see how these are curving down. The angles, the distance of my stem was so long that they were like touching each other, and you can see that in like a short demonstration here. Well, whatever. You guys can see that the further down I go, the closer they get to one another. The gap up here is higher, so you guys can see how that would clash eventually. Whoops. And I think that's actually still connected to that block, since it's a station. It should be. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I had a blast figuring this out and making this rail, but I'm pretty excited to see what other people come up with this method here. You can definitely like glitch things out and do some really weird things with it, but thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.